Uja, to do it for tuning in. Uja, Ubenefer. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and warm up with some ohms. Got this beautiful crystal bowl, singing bowl, that's tuned to the root chakra, the note of C according to this system. And you can ohm along with me. I can't hear you, but I'd sure love to hear you ohming with me. So I'm going to go counterclockwise because that's the direction to open things. All right, Uja, Dua for tuning in for tonight's edition of Cosmic Chimes and Chanting. Um, I had decided I was going to start giving a transmission a few days before the new moon and full moon, and then I realized today Mercury Retrograde started, so that was kind of synchronistic. Well, it is synchronistic. Uja, peace and blessings. And so tonight we will go over the retrograde planets, and then the analysis for the transmission coming up on Monday, the 17th, which is the full moon. And I forgot to check the time of the rising of the full moon, but I'll know that next week. Well, it's at 5. It's fullest at 5:18, but I forgot to check when it rises. So the sun is setting here. Well, it's getting dark, but it's very cloudy. I won't be able to see the moon tonight, but maybe Monday. All right. So my name is Arit, also known as Tachia Amet, and we're going to be going through the Horoscopes astrology system and Kimatone's cosmic sound healing. So I practice 13 months Kemetic sidereal astrology, which is based on the actual motion of the sun and the planets through the constellations, as opposed to the Western system, which is man-made and doesn't reflect anything in natural time. They just divided the orbit of the Earth around the sun into 12 sections and named each section after a constellation. However, they leave out Ophiuchus and they ignore precession of the equinox, which is responsible for seasons because the Earth is tilted. So I follow the 13-month sidereal system, and according to this system, there's a 13th constellation between Scorpio and Sagittarius, which is named Ophiuchus. So I checked the charts for today and the full moon, and the only thing that changes is the moon. So tonight we're just going to deal with the planets that are retrograde, and then on Monday I'll deal with the ones that weren't honored today. And so I said I was going to do the Mercury retrograde transmission and then the analysis of the full moon, so that during the full moon session they'll just will be less talking. It'll just be the sound healing. So that's the idea. I didn't know that the Mercury retrograde was today when I made that decision. So the planets that are retrograde at this moment in the sidereal system are Mercury, which is in sidereal Capricorn, Venus in sidereal Sagittarius. These are a little close together. And then we have Sedna and Cetus in sidereal Taurus. And Uranus is in sidereal Aries. Right? Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that we take this a step further because those are all Greek gods and goddesses. And we take it back to Kemet. Ucha. And the cosmic forces associated with these planets' vibrations, or the Kemetic correspondences to the Greek system. Because we know the Greeks just took what was already going on in ancient Kemet and translated it into Greek. So we have Geb for Saturn, Jehuti for Mercury, Asar Amun for sidereal Sagittarius, and the name of the constellation is Pimare, but I like to use the name of the netter. And then Heteru is associated with Venus. Sedna, I don't know the Kemetic correspondence for Sedna, so I just use Sedna because it's an Inuit, Alaskan goddess. Set, well, let's see, Aries, Tamat Amun. Yeah, I'm going to go with Tamat Amun. So Amun. So this is Asar Amun and Amun. And then Heru corresponds to Uranus. I usually use Set when we're talking about the planet Mars, so not the constellation. All right, so then also what I did was I have my chart here of Kemetic terms or Medunetu terms for portal openings, because in this system we don't see Mercury retrograde as something negative or something scary or something to be fearful about. It is a portal opening. It's an opening depending on what the planet is. Like this is Mercury retrograde, so it's opening into communications and technology. However, there's other planets that are retrograde, such as Venus. So that would be an portal opening in love relationships, or appreciation of beauty, or a portal opening to the beauty path in the sign of sidereal Sagittarius. So that's about traveling and expansion and higher consciousness. So it's a portal opening of love and beauty that expands our consciousness and awareness. So that's how we interpret the planets and constellations here. And then we have Sedna in cities in sidereal Taurus. So Sedna is the goddess associated with domestic violence, assault, father-daughter issues, betrayal. So like we're talking about healing from those events by appreciating them, right? But everything that happens for a reason. Everything that's happening to us is happening for us, so that we can purify our hearts and our minds and head towards enlightenment. So that's why these things happen. And then also we have our REU, which is in our heart, where things from our past are stored. And those impressions are what lead to our situations or events in our life. So we want to purify our youth so that we only have positive situations manifesting in our lives. So this is a portal opening, by seeing the beauty in all things, even in things that traumatize us. And then Cetus, I forgot to mention, is associated with the goddess Aset, the nurturing mother, divine mother, intuition, sacred words. So that is Sidereal, also in Taurus, Sidereal Taurus. The goddess Hetaru. Abundance, prosperity, financial freedom, the lavish abundance of the universe, awakening our intuition, the portal opening into our connection to the earth, deepening our appreciation of the natural beauty. And we have Sidereal Aries, Uranus and Sidereal Aries. Uranus is Heru, our spiritual aspiration, the sun of the soul and wisdom, the redemption of the soul, spiritually victorious. Uranus, all the other planets orbit the sun like this, and Uranus goes like this. So it's like the rebel, it goes its own direction, does its own thing. So Amun is the witnessing consciousness. So this is a portal opening that leads to our spiritual victory, our spiritual aspiration, as we witness. Let's see. So many things to say about Amun. Let me think about this. I would say making offerings to Amun that lead to our spiritual victory. Yeah, making offerings to Amun. Okay, so those are the tones and the vibrations in this reading for Mercury retrograde. And like I said, see it as a portal opening. When you look at like a map of the way Mercury appears, because it appears to go like this, and then it stops, and then it goes back in this direction, and then it goes back in this direction. So it looks like, the symbol for consciousness, symbol of the mouth in the Egyptian hieroglyphs, right? And it's the Mercury the retrograde's motions are actually illusions. It's just how it looks from the Earth. The planet doesn't actually stop and go back and change directions, but that's how it appears to us, and it also appears to have that effect on our lives. So once again, I don't see these as things to be afraid of or anything. I see them as portal openings, gateways to increased light, increased awareness, increased positive energy, abundance. I didn't even do Mercury retrograde. So Jehuti deals with communication, it's divine intelligence, the cosmic mind. Geb deals with limitations, boundaries, restrictions. Saturn deals with boundaries, restrictions, obstacles. Capricorn deals with like always striving for greatness, always, higher heights, always striving to be better, to do more. And so this is an opportunity where our communication can break free of boundaries and obstacles, limitations. We can speak it into existence during these portal openings called Mercury retrograde. And this is a great time to buy a new computer or upgrade your phone. I'm going to upgrade my phone during Mercury retrograde. I need to upgrade my phone. I've been putting it off. So I'm going to do it and get this energy involved in the process. All right, so like I was trying to say before, I have here words that I looked up in the dictionary that refer to portal openings. And I have to get the actual translation. First of all, I'll remind you that the symbol for retrograde, which is the RX symbol, is the same symbol for prescriptions or remedies. And so I see Mercury retrograde as a healing time. It's a medicine time. Like if there's something that's out of alignment with your life, then during Mercury retrograde, it could erupt, like a pimple burst or a flare, communication flares up. but it's something that needed to be released. They needed to detox, needed to replace their computer, or you need to open up so you can expand your relationships and expand your heart by communicating and expressing how you feel, or healing trauma by expressing how you feel, so you can travel beyond limitations, right? Or by making offerings like this that lead to our spiritual aspiration being victorious and receiving the nurturing of the divine mother goddess. Okay, so I'm going to give the translations. Neterti and Taiti are words for portal, because this is a portal opening for enlightenment and great awakenings. And retrograde is a remedy for time and space. And then when you have more than one planet that's retrograde, then we call it a great portal opening. Two portals or more of heaven. So one portal opening is amazing, but when you have more than one, that's like, wow. Like all of this light just comes through. This is how I visualize it. Coming through that little opening, which is a symbol for the mouth, which is a symbol for consciousness. And then opening, we have the terms Aten, Unin, Hetgat, which is a door opening, Seseni, which is to make open, Sesenti, Seti, opening, breakthrough, breach. Kahauti is an opening for light, or conduits for light. So during this transmission, just visualize the vibrations that were discussed and the deities that will be honored, and visualize the opening made by the retrograde motion. Netutiaten Taitiunin Netutiat God Taitiuseni Netutisenti Taitiseti Kinsuikahati Netutiaten Taitiunin Netutiat God Taitisaseni Netutisasenti Taitiseti Kinsuikahati Dua Jehuti Dua Get Dua Heteru Dua Asaramu Dua Sadna Dua Asad Dua Heteru Letter Tiatin, Tai Tiunin, Letter Tiat God, Tai Tisaseni, Letter Tisasenti, Tai Tisati, Kinsui Kahati. Netter Tiatin, Tai Tiunin, Netter Tiat God, Tai Tisaseni, Netter Tisasenti, Tai Tisati. Kinsui Kahati. Nukpu Jahuti Nukpu Portal opening into the cosmic mind. Break free of limitation. Nukpu Heteru Nukpu Asaramu Portal opening of the beauty path on the journey to enlightenment. At peace with the beauty of what is. Nukpu Sana Nukpu Ase from the past. Our intuition guides us to truth. Nupu Eru Nupu Tametamu making offerings of our egoism. Letertiatin tied to union Letertiat God tied to Saseni Letertisa senti Taitisa si Kinsui kahauti All right. Well, I hope that was a pleasant experience for you. I enjoyed it. I just visualize, myself traveling through this portal opening with all this light there to help me get through the challenges, because Mercury retrogrades can be intense. People tend to fear them or expect terrible things to happen, and I look forward to the breakthroughs in communication and understanding and new information, new technology. I see them as really interesting, and the fact that we have, 5 planets retrograde right now. That's 5. I remember when there's been like 8 planets retrograde or 9, because we include the asteroids. I don't know the time when it was 13 planets. Well, the moon won't go retrograde, so 12. I have not experienced that. I don't know if I want to. So, all right. Well, that was the retrograde transmission, and you can, play it back. It's retrograde for about 3 weeks, Mercury. So you can replay it, or I have other ones posted about portal openings, Jehudi portal openings. And it's nice to just replay it and listen to it, or just chant it, the words. I've posted the words different places. I think I've posted them on my website, just to remember that it's just a portal opening. It's a light conduit. There's ancestors coming through the portal opening to assist us. We have Jehuti, Geb, Asara, Moon, Heteru, Sedna, Talmud, Amun, Heru, and Aset to help us. So, we're in good hands. Do you have any comments or questions? Now we're going to go through the full moon analysis so that when it's time to do the analysis on Monday, I don't have to do any talking. I'll just refer people to the analysis. And I don't, prepare these ahead of time or anything. It's just what comes through. So looks like I didn't add the sun. Oh, it's not connected. Right. So on Monday, January 17th, will be the full moon. It's called the wolf full moon. And of course, I'll be howling. When you hear those type of names, I usually say it's Native American. However, there's like how many different Native American nations, so they don't always choose the same nation to get the name from. I like to go to the Native American astronomy websites, and there they list like each nation or tribe, their legend about the full moon, and so I usually just choose a different one depending on what's going on. But this one is the wolf full moon. Last one was cold full moon, so I don't know. I don't have any more information on that right now. This is one of my favorite full moons because the full moon will be in sidereal Gemini, and that means it will be in the sacred hoop. From the Lakota Nation, we learn of the sacred hoop, and the sacred hoop consists of the constellations that we know as Gemini. It includes the star Sirius, so the Great Dog constellation. It has Orion, Taurus, and some other stars. I don't have the chart in front of me, but I'll post it. I'll post it before the full moon transmission because I don't want to talk about it during the transmission. So this is one of my favorite times of year when it's the full moon inside this sacred hoop. It's a very beautiful thing to behold. Now it says the moon will be full at 5:18, but we won't be able to see the moon here at 5:18. So I may choose to broadcast it later. I haven't decided. I let the spirits choose the time of these events. I don't put my own into it, but I would like to see the moon, so I may change it. But it's beautiful. You see the sacred hoop, the constellation of the sacred hoop, and then the full moon is right in the center, and this is the only time of the year that it does that. So to me, this is the sacred hoop full moon. You can see the moon at other phases in the sacred hoop, but for some reason, when you see the full moon, it's just like, wow. And it was so moving to me when I first observed it a few years ago that I wrote a song about it called Asar Ah, and I'll probably offer that during the full moon transmission. And so we have the moon will be in sidereal Gemini, and Mars, the planet Mars, will be in Ophiuchus, which is the sign of the healer. Well, I didn't talk about the moon in sidereal Gemini. Okay, so the moon at horoscopes, most of the phases are represented by Sasheta, but the full moon represents Jehuti and Asar and Kansu. And that song that I was telling you about, Asar Ah, it has different, phrases about Jehuti being the full moon, Asar being the full moon. I even found a word that to me talks about the full moon when it's in, when it's near Sirius, when it's in the sacred hoop. And so Jehuti is the full moon, and it's in the sign of sidereal Gemini, which is also associated with Jehuti, the cosmic mind, divine intelligence, etc. So you have like a double dose of Jehuti, of the divine intelligence, or accessing this cosmic mind. If you've heard me talk about it before, we have three minds to access. We have the limited mind, which is in our brain, and it deals with our day-to-day practical reality. Like when you're driving and you start thinking about something else, and the next thing you know, you're at your destination, and you don't even know, like, you don't remember getting there. So that was your the limited mind, right? And then this is also where our ego resides. Our egoism lives in our brain and our thoughts. The brain is divided into two, so we're constantly going back and forth, this or that, left or right, yes or no. And so we can get all caught up in that. So the best thing is to open up to the infinite, our infinite mind, right? Which is projecting this reality. And our infinite mind is filled with the cosmic mind of Jehuti. So when we're in alignment and in attunement, then our thoughts will be in alignment with Jehuti. But if we're like stuck in our egoism or trapped by set and fetters of set, we block ourselves from the infinite mind. So that's what I like to focus on during like Mercury retrogrades or the full moon in Sidereal Gemini or Sidereal Virgo, because that's a double dose of Jehuti. Okay, so Mars in Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is the 13th constellation along the ecliptic, and in horoscopes we connect Ophiuchus with Imhotep. Imhotep is the master physician of ancient Kemet, and also the engineer that designed the Saqqara pyramid, the stair-step pyramid. And Ophiuchus, the 13th constellation, is the only constellation of the 88 that is based on the life of an actual human. And what human is it? Ophiuchus. But they don't talk about it. They just show Ophiuchus as a man with a snake between his legs. He's like wrestling with the snake, and he's about to step back of the scorpion. And they say that symbolizes humanity coming into awareness of alternative forms of healing, and we're finally able to conquer our lower nature, our lower sexual nature, which is often represented by the scorpion. So by getting in tune with these alternative healing practices, we're able to, deal with the lower vibrations of the earth, which in fact, are connected to Sedna, which is the sign of constellation, the asteroid that represents sexual assault, domestic violence, rape, things like that. Well, I didn't go into detail on Sedna. Sedna is based on the myth from the Inuit, like Eskimos, Alaskan culture. And the myth is that there was a king. He had chosen a suitor for his daughter, but she was in love with a stranger. And she went against her father's wishes, off with this stranger. And when the stranger, they got married and then went to his home, turns out he's actually a bird, some sort of bird demon. And she was going to be there as his slave. And so one day she escaped and she was swimming, and her father was feeling so bad about it. At the same moment, he was coming to rescue her. So she gets in the boat, and her husband comes looking for her. And the father is so scared that he pushes the daughter into the water. He's like, oh no, I'm not going to have that demon coming after me. You're on your own. And the girl puts her fingers on the side of the boat, says, Father, please let me back in the boat. And he takes his weapon, knife or whatever, and, cuts her hands, her fingers. And so she falls into the sea. And the legend is that her fingers become the animals in the ocean, and she becomes the goddess of the sea. And she represents, betrayal, assault, domestic violence, etc. Oops, I thought I had turned off all notifications. And so that's the energy of Sedna. And so Ophiuchus represents the ability to stamp out the lower nature, which would, eliminate a lot of these energies that we're dealing with today. So Mars in Ophiuchus means that our power, our direction, our force is in this area of this healing. And so that's what we'll be working on at the full moon. Also, on the full moon, and now even, the only thing that's different between the full moon and now is the moon. Right now the moon is in Taurus. So what I'm reading, what I'm talking about now, applies to this moment and during the moment of the full moon. So then we have Pluto in Sagittarius. Pluto represents Asar. Well, it was on Saturn. Saturn is Geb again, and it's in its exalted sign of Capricorn. Saturn rules Capricorn. So Saturn is a planet of limitations, restrictions, boundaries, obstacles. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Capricorn is constantly striving to do better, to do more, to be greater. So we're going to have this, we have this going on because Mercury is in Capricorn. Mercury Retrograde is in Capricorn. And then Saturn is also in Capricorn. So this is a time for us, we're going to be really dealing with a lot of limitations, boundaries, obstacles. And luckily we have this Mercury Retrograde to help us break free of these obstacles. So again, Mercury retrograde is medicine for whatever is going on. Then Pluto, Sagittarius, Pluto rules Sagittarius. Pluto is Asar, and Sagittarius is Asar, a moon. Pluto deals with transformations, life and death, rebirth, everything you can think of Asar, the universal soul. And Sagittarius is us traveling towards eternity. So we're just sailing right along, expanding beyond all limitations, traveling to our enlightenment again, which is moving beyond limitations of the earth experience. Then we're going to have Chiron, which is the asteroid that I connect to Ophiuchus. Chiron is the wounded healer. And this is a Greek legend. Chiron was the healer to the gods and goddesses, and there was someone who was jealous of his healing abilities. And this part of the myth sounds like the one with Aset when she poisoned Ra. But someone made a scorpion or a snake, I don't know what, a scorpion that bit Chiron. And since it was not a natural poison, there he didn't have a cure. And so instead of letting him die out, bleed out, they put him up in the heavens, and he became the asteroid that reminds us of our self-care, reminds us to take care of ourselves. It's called the wounded healer. In astrology, when you get to the age of 50 and 52, you go through something called a Chiron return. And that is when issues that you had when you were young, like a young child or a young adult, that you weren't able to fully process because it was traumatizing, or you just didn't know how to process it. So you squashed it down, and then between the ages of 50 and 52, during your Chiron return, because Chiron has a 50-year orbit, it will come up again. And some people don't survive their Chiron return because the healing journey is just too painful. Like Prince, Michael Jackson, and Whitney Houston are the three celebrity Chiron returns that were just tragic. And so we have Chiron in Sidereal Pisces. Pisces deals with our emotions, our past lives, our past experiences. And at Harusko, we associate that with the goddess Nebuchadnezzar. Goddess Nebuchadnezzar is the goddess of our mortality, our physicality. She's the lady of the house. And so Chiron in Sidereal Pisces, Chiron Nebuchadnezzar, when we're releasing and crying and emotional and deep into our feelings, we need to tune into that during this time when Chiron is in Sagittarius Pisces. And during the full moon, all of this will be like heightened, and we're just going to be feeling all these things. So just let them come out, write in your journal. The moon's in Gemini. It's a great time to be writing. Then last but not least, we have Vesta, Juno, and the Sun in Sagittarius. Vesta and Juno are Greek names. I haven't found the Kemetic correspondences yet. Vesta is the goddess of the hearth. It's like your central passion. It's what fuels you. Mars is like the direction of your life, but Vesta is like what is at your core, what keeps you warm at night. For me, it's music and astrology. That's my core. Juno is the goddess of like partnerships, relationships. Um, yeah, partnerships, relationships. And then the sun, of course, is the creativity. Sagittarius is the constellation associated with expansion and travel and our spiritual journey. So at this time, our central passion is our spiritual journey. Our creativity is to enhance our spiritual journey, and our partnerships are to make our spiritual journey go smoothly. All right, so that is my analysis for the full moon. And if you tune in on the 17th, Monday at 5 o'clock, unless I change it to later because I want to see the moon, we'll have Cosmic Chimes and Chanting, meditation, and the Asar Ah song. And I will try not, the idea is I won't be talking so much. I can just really like get into the sounds. All right, well, that is the transmission for today. Thank you for tuning in. I guess I could do a little bit more just focusing on Mercury and Capricorn. Let's do a few minutes of that. Because that was all of them that are retrograde. So I got a few more minutes here. So we have Mercury retrograde in Sidereal Capricorn, Jehuti and Geb. Jehuti. Jehuti. The gateway to the cosmic mind, beyond limitation, beyond materialism, beyond obstacles, breakthroughs in communication, breaking free of limitations, I'm going to remember that one when I go get my phone. All right, so we're going to close out again with the singing bowl. We open it by going counterclockwise, and we close it going clockwise to manifest all that was offered. Do it for tuning in. I'll be back here on the 17th with the live full moon transmission and the offering of Asar Ah. And I will post a map of the sacred hoop on one of my next videos. Do a tap. Thank you.